Alright, lock in because today I'm going to be reacting to some Victorious hot takes and unpopular opinions. Hollywood Arts, the Victorious spinoff with Trina, was announced a couple of weeks ago. Also, Wicked for Good starring Ariana Grande is in theaters, so it's the perfect time to revisit Victorious and talk about it. Also, last year, my coverage of Victorious was supposed to include a video like this, like reacting to hot takes, but I just didn't get around to it, so this is a makeup. I'm going to be reacting to some Reddit hot takes. The link where I got all of these takes from will be in the description, and yeah, that's enough intro. Time to get in here, let's go. Andre was so underrated. When I hear people talking about their favorite character, I never hear anyone say Andre. Not saying that Andre is no one's favorite character, but I think he should have gotten more screen time. I would say no to Andre being underrated and yes to Andre needing more screen time, somewhat. I don't think that he actually needed more screen time. I just think that he needed more imaginative plots, I would say. Every time he had a bit of relevance on his own without being a sidekick in someone else's plot, it was either about some girl trouble or some record company. The record company stuff actually makes sense considering like what he's going to Hollywood Arts for, like that's fine. But instead of getting all of these new gigs, what I would have liked to see was him sticking with one company. You know that one from the Diddly Bobs episode? Just have him stick with that company and evolve with them, like make them recurring instead of starting over every time he wants a record deal. Then for the girl trouble stuff, I only found Jade Gets Crushed to be interesting. Andre was so annoying with the Kiko stuff and I just didn't like Hope from Andre's Horrible Girl, which was actually like the point. She was supposed to be unlikable, but man, like is he gonna have a serious relationship or not? I would keep the music stuff for sure, but instead of the girl stuff, give Andre like something a bit more worthwhile, I would say, a bit more important. Then this person said that Andre's underrated, but I would say no, Andre is not underrated at all. Maybe we're just living in two separate worlds, like separate bubbles, but I've seen Andre get a lot of credit, especially when this show came to Netflix in 2019 and everyone was talking about how Jade, Kat, and Andre carried the show and were eating up Tori in the song performances and such. On my old channel, I actually made a video about why Andre is overrated, which I think I still have access to. Like, I'm not going to post it here, but if interested, ask for the link and I'll like link it in a comment or something like that. But yeah, I can't really agree that Andre is underrated. Like, I see him getting a lot of praise for being one of the best singers, like possibly the best character. So I can't really say that he's underrated. He's like properly rated, maybe even overrated, but like definitely not underrated. Next take. Only season 1 was actually good. Then the show got too ridiculous, thinking randomness and cringe humor are inherently funny. The characters also become more and more shallow and one-dimensional. There were a couple of good episodes after that, like the Helen one or the time Tori and Jade go on a date, but most of it was bad. And that's a problem that plagued pretty much all of Dan Schneider's shows from that point on. Even iCarly got affected in its last couple of seasons. I will say yes and no. As the show went on, Victorious and iCarly declined in quality for sure. I can't talk about the iCarly stuff in depth right now because it's been like 4 or 5 years since I've watched it and like reviewed it. So my viewpoints wouldn't be like the most accurate, but I definitely remember not liking like season 5 and season 6 where they kind of just ran out of ideas and the show stopped being about the web show for real. So I would agree, iCarly and Victorious dropped in quality the longer they were on, which is the case for most shows. But I don't draw the line at season 1 of Victorious. That wasn't the only good season. Actually, if you're splitting the show up into 4 seasons, which I usually just go with 3 seasons and consider season 3 and season 4 as a big like mega season. But if you're going with those 4 seasons, I would say that season 1 and season 2 are the good half and season 3 and season 4 are the not so good seasons. Also, another reason why I wouldn't agree that season 1 was the only good season is because I have season 2 ranked as the #1 season. Speaking to the point about the characters becoming more shallow and one-dimensional, there were 2 major character changes or like evolutions, de-evolutions, whatever. Jade was a lot more outwardly emotional in season 1, which wasn't present in season 2. Like, she was more gothic and like maybe a bit more chill, and like I like that evolution for her character. That was good. However, season 2 is when Kat's character started to get derailed, just becoming a classic dumb character. So that's maybe a reason to not like season 2. But this was better than season 1. Like, the cast had more chemistry, it seems. The episodes were a bit like more adventurous, and this season had some of the best episodes and songs in the series, like Begging on Your Knees, the episode, the Locked Up special, Jade Gets Crushed, and more. So I would definitely include season 2 in this golden age, then say that everything after that wasn't the best as the show took this kid show wacky direction. Most of the criticism Tori's character gets is because the talent of the other characters in the show had to be stifled in order to support the illusion that Tori is the most talented in Hollywood arts. Most of the time, they had everyone singing background vocals on the songs performed on the show and didn't even include them on the soundtracks. They 100% made Kat more baby-like and stupid to pacify her character from upstaging Tori's, and during the show's run, it was frustrating that such a talent didn't get the chance to truly flourish on the show when everyone was seeing Ariana blow up with her YouTube covers at the time. Now, years later that Ariana is a huge pop star and Victoria dealt with all of the bullying from Ari stans, people have forced this pity train on Victoria and by extension her character Tori. So anytime people critique how underwhelming Victoria's performance was compared to her highly talented co-stars, in addition to how she was written to be more talented, it gets conflated with the hate train Victoria faced. In retrospect, had the show allowed all of the characters to truly have their moments without being backup most of the time and included them in the soundtrack songs, Tori would be better received. I somewhat disagree with this take. However, I will agree that cutting the others out of the soundtracks wasn't nice. Like, that definitely lowered the quality of some of the songs. Alright, so I'm going to quickly address the point that they made Kat stupid to keep her from upstaging Tori. Might be a reach. I just think that the creator of this show liked Kat that way, like, which is disturbing in some ways considering like what she became in future seasons. But yeah, like, I don't think Kat was written that way so she wouldn't upstage Tori. That was probably just like the original vision for her character to be ditzy, and it seems like she's not even going to Hollywood arts for singing. It seems like she's going there for like design, so like that's probably just the original vision for the character, I would say. Also, she got more prominence in the later seasons and the spin-off show, so evens, I guess. Alright, so now addressing this take as a whole, these are common reasons why people say that they hate Tori, for sure. But I don't believe that they tried to convince us that Tori was the most talented, especially since the premise of the show was clear from the first episode. She was new to the school and trying to learn and become better at her craft. No one outright said that she was the most talented singer, but even if they tried to convince us that Tori was more talented than everyone else, that's more of a world building issue rather than an actual flaw with Tori's character. So I don't see why Tori herself should get the hate. I don't see why the Tori character should get the hate for a world building issue. This person also said that if the others got to shine more, Tori would have been better received. I doubt that people would go from hating Tori to automatically loving her or tolerating her more if the other characters got to shine more, because to some, that doesn't actually seem to be the problem. The problem to them is that she was even the lead at all. I've seen people really go in on her singing, and like this take right here said that her performance was underwhelming in comparison to the others, so I doubt that letting the others shine more would help things. In this situation that's being proposed where the others would get to shine more, I'm still assuming that Tori would sing or like take the lead in more songs than everyone, as she is the main character, so that's not solving the problem. If the others get to like shine more, she would still get the most opportunities, which would still make people mad that she's being prioritized over Kat, Jade, and Andre. The proposed fix that I always hear is that either Jade, Kat, or Andre should have led the show, which is just changing up the show too much, and like it was never going to happen, at least on this specific show, because Victoria was next in line. She was on Zoe 101, she appeared in an iCarly episode, like Dan loved her, like she was gonna have a show and be the lead of that show no matter what. Now, should they have cast strong voices around her? Questionable, but yeah, she totally deserved to have a show and be the star of it. In a show like Hannah Montana, Miley sang just about everything, so I always say that the amount of spotlight that Tori got was justified. She's not getting too much spotlight. The only reason why people don't like it is because she's singing over Andre, Jade, and Kat. I really believe that if you give her the same amount of songs, the same amount of relevance, and just surround her with some like bum diesels or like less talented actors, less talented singers, then no one would complain about Tori singing a lot because there's no other viable options to like sing the songs. So maybe that's a casting issue, but from a character writing point of view, I can't agree. Also, no, I would not want the cast to be less talented to make Tori function quote unquote properly, because no, like this talented cast made Victorious. Like that's what made it like such an amazing show. Last point is that people forced a pity train on Victoria and by extension her character because of all the hate. I don't know, man. I don't necessarily have to be a Victoria fan or like feel sympathy for her just to bring some sound logic to the table to defend her character from all of the false narratives. Where I stand is that you can hate Tori. You can feel however you want about Victoria Justice. Like I really don't care. That's not for me to govern. I think that some of the Tori love is definitely sympathy for Victoria. I think the hate that she got for stuff that's the writer's decision is extreme, but also maybe it's not Victoria related. Maybe people don't see Tori as a monster and are willing to be nuanced with their opinions and look deeper into the show instead of saying this take, which you're entitled to, like it's your opinion, but I'm not gonna lie. This comment is like the same Tori complaint that I've seen like over and over and over again in like a different format every time. You can have your opinion on her, like just be willing to hear others out when they might challenge or like debunk some of these points, because a lot of the Tori hate, or like a lot of the reasons why people hate Tori, like you're allowed to hate her, but a lot of those points can be debunked with like actual facts. So like just be like willing to hear that if you're gonna like make a post like this, like going a big rant like this. I would say Tori is overhated. For all of the Tori defense posts, I'll get you one better. Tori was one of the show's best and funniest characters and brought out the best in others. The show wouldn't work without her. I like Tori. I've been a Tori defender and agree that she's overhated to an extent. I believe that there are some valid complaints of Tori, but when the show came to Netflix in 2019, it felt like people were searching for reasons to hate her. I can't really cite the videos as it's been a long time, like over half a decade, but a common complaint is that Tori is perfect and received no consequences, but then they'll complain when Tori kissed Kat's boyfriend, even though she let Kat punch her to make up for it, injuring her nose, showing that she's not perfect and will receive consequences sometimes. And there's just a bunch of other stuff. Like I already made a video about this, but yeah, I feel like she is somewhat overhated, and a lot of that hate comes from the fact that Victoria was cast as the lead over Ariana, Liz, and Leon. So I believe that she's overhated. However, I would not say that she was one of the funnier characters on the show. I definitely got more laughs out of Jade and Trina for sure. Definitely season 1 Kat and possibly Andre. I'm not really looking to Tori for comedy. I'm looking to her for reliability and great song performances. However, I would say that the show wouldn't work without her, but that's because like it's built around her. But yeah, I don't believe that Tori hurt the quality of the show. She was very necessary and provided some good entertainment in spots. In the beginning, the show really hinted at a future Beck and Tori relationship. I think the intention was to have them date, but then the idea was scrapped. Trina was the funniest character. There was never a dull moment with her. Alright, so I definitely agree with the second take about Trina. I have her as my #1 ranked character. She's funny and relatable. I love her. Now for the first point about Beck and Tori being meant to date. This is kind of an extension of one of my points about Beck. It's not just the Tori stuff. I really believe that Beck was supposed to be important in general. If you just go back and look at those first like 10 or so episodes, Beck was a big player in most of them. In this stretch of episodes, he kissed Tori and he broke up and got back together with Jade, and he used his RV to take his friends to the beach, and then he got his big break in a movie. All of this stuff happened in the first 10 episodes, but then like he kind of tails off from there. He also missed like quite a bit of time in season 2, so that could be a reason why he wasn't as relevant, maybe. But like yeah, like after those first 10 episodes, like he just like tails off definitely. Like after season 1, the most adventurous thing that he ever did was like be a bodyguard for Tori in like the begging on your knees episode, and all the way near the end of season 4 in the Star Spangled Tori episode, he was just like another glorified bodyguard again. Like he saved Tori from the prank. I think Beck and Tori could have been a thing, like that could have been the original plan, especially since they never like quite let go of that idea. You can see how they acted in the Tori Goes Platinum episode and Opposite Date. But more importantly, I think it's clear that Beck was absolutely supposed to be a bigger character than what he ended up being. So I agree with this take. All I Want Is Everything is that song. Absolutely, you already know. A year ago, I made a video ranking every Victoria song, and All I Want Is Everything found its way in 4th place, only behind a big 3 of songs that are just like untouchable to me. But yeah, I absolutely love it. However, I wish that it didn't get cut off in the show. The TV version had just about everyone singing. However, the soundtrack version only had Victoria singing, which is the case for most of the soundtrack releases. I don't mind it like too much. I'm not really one to complain about this stuff as much as I've seen others complain about this in the past, but this is definitely one of those songs that's just better with everyone. The quality automatically increases. So yeah, I definitely agree with this take. Victoria should have gotten the reboot instead of iCarly. Also, seasons 1 and 2 were better than 3 and 4. Well, This is somewhat contradictory, however, I won't be dense, like I will try to get on this person's level. I always hear about how Victorious should have got more seasons or revival series, while also calling seasons 3 and 4 trash. Now, I will agree that seasons 3 and 4 weren't the best, like they definitely kind of ran out of ideas there, lost focus of what the show was originally about as it became like more of a kid's show rather than a teen show, like stuff like that. Seasons 3 and 4 weren't their strongest showings, but knowing that they exhausted all of their ideas, why should the show get more seasons? Like why should it come back? This person said a revival. I'll get to that after this, but like I can't agree with the show continuing on in the state that it was in back then. However, if they wanted to go the revival route, which is after like a few years, now things get interesting. Like I talk about a lot of total drama here. Before their long hiatus, the last camp seasons that they released, All Stars and Pocket to You Island, were absolutely abominable, but they got a few years off and came back with some fresh ideas, and those seasons were solid. Maybe the same could happen with Victorious. I don't actually think it needs a full-on revival because I have the bias, like I know what happens. Like I saw them run out of ideas in like season 4. Like what else is there for them to explore? Like I just really don't see it right now. So rather than a revival series, I just think it needs like a 1-episode finale, like to tie up those loose ends, you know, GTA 5 style. But that's unlikely because everyone's aged, like, and is this supposed to be in the present tense or in the future? Also, with the Hollywood Art series coming up, it would just be weird to have that series, then after that, like go back in time to have the original like Victorious finale. Maybe the finale could be part of Hollywood Arts, like at the end of it, I don't know, like something like that. But yeah, I would say that this take is interesting. I think it would have been better if Victorious got a revival over iCarly, a show that already had a perfect finale and didn't need a revival. But if Victorious got the revival, I just don't know how it would work out. Like it's questionable because I don't want it to come back and be mid. I want it to come back and be loved. And like I just don't see a good pathway for that. The show completely lacks character development throughout the entire series, despite having 4 seasons. Every character stayed the same throughout. As much as I love this show, this is my biggest gripe with it, other than having no actual finale. I would say no to this, but also to me, it doesn't really matter if the characters develop or not because it's a sitcom with very few ongoing storylines. The only time I really remembered stuff like actually mattering and carrying over was the Jade and Beck breakup later on in the show. Outside of that, it's kind of like everything just resets after every episode. Now, if you want character development, I'll give you one instance. In the beginning of the show, Tori had a boy issue, like she had an issue with boundaries and boyfriend kissing and such. In the pilot episode, she kissed Beck, and in Kat's new boyfriend, she kissed Kat's boyfriend. This started a series-long rivalry and a series-long hatred of sorts between Tori and Jade, and while in Kat's situation, she forgave her, like it still caused a lot of hurt, like that's still something that happened. So check this out. In the Tori Goes Platinum episode, when Jade and Beck were broken up and Tori had a chance to kiss Beck, she didn't because she respected Jade, showing her growth and how she learned her lesson. Also, I'll have to watch this show again, but after that, it felt like Jade wasn't as mean to Tori anymore. Also, every character staying the same just isn't true because season 1 Jade is a different character than the Jade we know for the rest of the series. Same with Kat. These don't have to be good changes, but it is false to say that the characters like stayed the same throughout. Last take of the day. The worst thing Tori did was not kissing Kat's boyfriend right in front of her. Tori took responsibility for that, and in the episode Tori Goes Platinum, it is shown that she genuinely learned from that mistake and will not kiss a friend's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. The worst thing she did was arrange the prom the same day Jade was supposed to perform a play that Jade worked way harder on than Tori did on this prom. Tori acted like Jade was stepping in Tori's way, which I guess she was, but Tori couldn't even try to sympathize with the reasons Jade was upset. It just shows that there are times when Tori just genuinely thinks she's the main character in people's lives. Also, Tori's voice isn't bad at all, but I don't like how everyone treated her like she was the most talented person that ever came into Hollywood Arts. Kat had such a good voice, Jade had such a good voice, and Andre is responsible for Tori even being there, not Trina. Alright, so on the prom and play stuff, I've had my opinion set on this for years. Tori didn't ruin Jade's play, rather it was Jade's fault or Psychowitz's fault. Psychowitz was the one that told Tori that she could schedule her prom on that day, so that's on Psychowitz for letting Tori schedule that day, or it's on Jade for not even scheduling her play at all. So that situation isn't even on Tori. Maybe she could have canceled the prom, but she had no reason to because Jade was always mean to her. And no lie, in the literal episode before this one, Tori gets stuck. Jade stole Tori's blood, a literal crime, just to sabotage Tori so Jade could be the lead in Steamboat Susie. So I find it funny that this take is saying that Tori is the one acting like she's the main character. Also, in season 1 Walkstar, Tori helped Jade get funding for her play to impress her father. Tori has been so nice to Jade despite the niceness not being reciprocated, so she really owed Jade nothing in this situation. Also, I'm assuming this prom will serve more people than this play. Like, I don't know if they're gonna show up for Jade like that, like they showed up for Tori's prom, especially since apparently Hollywood Arts never had a prom before. But there's like a little bit of inconsistency because in the pilot episode, Rex was talking about how no one asked Kat to the prom last year, so like maybe it was someone else's prom, I don't know. I even saw a hot take somewhere saying that the pilot episode isn't canon, which is another can of worms, I'm not gonna lie. What I'm saying is, when I lay it out like that, I really can't say that Tori was wrong here. Maybe Tori could have suggested a joint event, like have a prom, Jade gets to perform a play in the middle, you know, compromise, teamwork makes the dream work, you know? But there's no conflict for the episode then, so like that would have been the best option. But since it wasn't, considering everything, I heavily lean towards the Tori side of this. That was the big thing I wanted to address. Lastly, for everyone treating Tori like she's the most talented person at Hollywood Arts, maybe there's implications. Like, I know Tori getting selected over Kat for the Platinum Music Awards was unpopular, and like I saw someone complain about her getting the lead role in Steamboat Susie, and in the Ryder Daniels episode, Begging on Your Knees, everyone wanted to work with Tori, although like I will say she and Robbie were the only main characters in the class. Like, it's not like they wanted to work with Tori over Kat and Jade. But yeah, there's some times where maybe you could make the case that it's implied, like it looks like they're trying to say that Tori was more talented than everyone else. But one thing that I hang my hat on is that I don't believe that anyone outright said that Tori is the most talented person or singer at the school. Sinjin came close in the slap fight episode, but he called out the group and said that they're all the most talented students at the school. So like I said, maybe there are some moments where it's implied that people think that Tori is more talented than the others, but like no one outright said that. All right, and that's all I got. Feel free to leave some hot takes down below in the comment section so I can make another video reacting to some more hot takes. But yeah, until next time, stay strong, stay brutal, because above all else, it's anything to win.
I won't let you down, Bruce. I'll keep fighting. Always.